One, two, two, two.
And we're live.
All right. We are night 2, Big Hammock podcast,
Yep.
and we're going to keep this train running and have just as good as a time as we did last night tonight. The guest we have today, another mind behind the Big Hammock. This man did the sound behind the Big Hammock. Both of these guys were cast members in the Big Hammock. And the one that I'm introducing first is the writer, Jake Cannet. Welcome,
Hey,
Jake.
thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
And then last but
Glad to be
not
here.
least, again, we've got the man that I'm truly thankful for.
Mm.
And I'll tell you why here in a second. Executive producer, Chaz Webb. Welcome, Chaz.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, Chaz, I want to talk about what earned you the title of the executive producer, because I'm a producer myself, and I got to tell you, we've had, throughout this 2-year long journey of this movie, there's been a lot of support, family, friends, but there's also been the naysayers and the critics, and over the course of time, I've told people myself I'm a producer, and there's been people who have said to me, they'll just give anybody that title. Like, that don't mean nothing, right? They downplay what a producer is, and
Yeah. Producer. I didn't even know I didn't know what a producer was until I did this. So
so I will tell you, for sure, Malcolm didn't just hand out the producer card to anybody. I had to earn that. I obviously was in the cast, but I provided, scenes, places that we could film.
you
I,
helped
I did do
produce.
some I did do some writing, and helped with some editing and on a couple of scenes, and been a part of the promotion of the movie. But Chaz, you are the executive producer, and there's a reason that you're the executive producer, because, and again, going back to last night's podcast, Travis really, really took pride in the fact that this was just a low budget film. And, throughout this time, we've joked, we've said it's a zero budget film.
Yeah.
And it's true in a lot of ways, but they were also talking about their humble beginnings, and Travis was talking about the camera equipment that he first started out with. Malcolm was talking about his sound equipment, and getting ready for this movie. He really, from all of the projects and things that he had worked with Travis on, he had everything ready to go, except there was one thing, and ironically, it was the most important thing.
Yeah.
It was the camera, and that camera didn't come cheap, right? I mean, you can't just take a camera that you can buy from Walmart and record with it and put it up on the big screen, and it's going to be good quality view.
Yeah.
And this camera, it wasn't cheap, and you provided the financing for that camera, for the film, and you made the film happen, Chaz. So I say from on behalf of the cast and crew, thank you for that.
Yes,
Thank you,
definitely.
Chaz.
Of course.
Thank you.
Yep, for sure.
And
That's what he said we needed, and we all just want to make this do it right. So do it
Yeah.
right the first time.
yeah, so let's
Yeah.
talk about that, right? Chaz, you and I have talked a couple of times throughout this film. Um, and I don't think, for me, when he asked me to do this film, I don't know, we have this loyal following of Malcolm just from our childhoods and all that kind of stuff. And, for me, it was no questions asked. You want me to be in the film? I'm there, right?
Yep.
And I think that, there was a point in time where the conversation come up, I got to get this camera. And I don't think that there was any question about it. You were getting that camera.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So, when we fast forward, and this film has, taken place, obviously you've been in conversations with Malcolm. You did your scenes in the movie. What was your thought process this film was taking place, from table reads to filming to shooting? What were your thoughts on how everything went as the production of the film started taking place?
I mean, everything, like overall, like went like according to plan. I think overall, of course, we had to change things here and there. adapt to this and that. But I think we handled all that stuff pretty well, the speed bumps and uh, and it, we tried to stay focused the whole time, just trying to do it right and not like veer off and wing this and wing that like we did on like other things we helped with. So I think we all tried to really stick to our guns and
Yeah.
And I think Jake's going to take pride in that, right? Because for us, this is a 2-year long journey of a phone call. Then here we are coming Friday to premiere this movie, and Jake was probably he was the first one to get a phone call because Malcolm had put this vision in his mind, and he started to write it. And he there was the first phone call that he made was to you, Jake, and he said, "Hey, I need some help writing this movie." And you took on. So you take it from there, Jake. Tell us about writing this film and how that went for you.
Well, I was currently I was in the process of writing something else, and unbeknownst to me, so was he. And I had written some other things, like, I'm kind of self-conscious about them, so pretty much I only let him see it. Or, hey, do you want to be a part of this? Because I know how much um, it means to him to be a part of my stuff. So, like, I couldn't even imagine making movies and stuff without Malcolm, to be honest with you. So I was in the process of writing, and he was like, "Hey, I have 5 pages written of something I'm writing." I'm like, "Okay," and so it was something he had actually told me about previously, but it was less, offhanded. So he's like, "I want you to. Your movie's gonna take money, so let's sell your movie with this one." And I'm like, "Okay, so what is it about?" And he told me what it's about. Blah blah blah. I was like, "Okay, I like that concept. I like a challenge in writing." Um, I was like, "But I kind of have one caveat. I want to make it a, I want to make it a comedy. We can do what you want, but I also want to make it a comedy as well."
I want to hit on
Great
that
choice.
real quick, right? Because it was definitely sold as a thriller to me, and the comedy aspect was definitely evident. I think even to the table reads,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, and you know, of course, a lot of us we did a lot of ad lib acting, right? Like we stuck to the story, but there was a lot of times throughout the filming where just things came out, and we're a group of guys that have been hanging out for years,
Yep.
and we're also that group of guys that are the rowdy bunch in the crowd and always laughing, and I to bring out the comedy that you brought out in your writing, and then for us to deliver, it's really I tell you what is going to be the best thing is when we watch this movie and see people share that comedic relief with us.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's one thing to laugh at your own jokes, right? But if nobody else is laughing, what kind of joke is it, right?
Right.
So, and I think that again, Chaz, correct me if I'm wrong, being a producer of the film and being a part of the final edit, and going to Epic Theater and getting everything. Did we deliver on the comedy?
I think so. I
I
mean,
think
it's textbook thriller comedy. You
correct.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like
I think one of the best lines in the film is I brought bear spray.
one of my only lines.
But going back to the writing, Jake, I just want to tell you how good of a job you did writing this film.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
As I was telling the guys last night, when he sent that script over, I read my lines. I didn't read everybody else's, and then I sat down at the table read, and the way that thing played out, very well written. And I take pride that we're able to deliver in that. There was I want to say you're too smart for me. There was some words in there that I couldn't pronounce, and had to come up with my own stuff. But
I found that out. You weren't the only one.
I found out that was frowned upon. So but I will say, Jake, again, being a part of the pre-production of this movie, doing the writing, obviously post-production as well, involved with the sound. And somehow, I may have adjusted some of those words so they come out more naturally, and from my character. And I'm sure Chaz did the same thing, and some other people. Did we make you proud?
Very.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I remember writing it, and our intention was to make it a small movie.
Right.
Small cast, people with small parts. That didn't happen because I just got to writing.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest with you. I just got to writing, and sometimes you don't. Sometimes the story leads you in a direction that, even though, okay, so like, I'd be writing, and then shoot, every day, every 2 days, every 3 days, I'd have a section down, and so Malcolm would give me kind of like an outline, but I still was relying on him to kind of keep me
In check.
In check,
Mm-hmm.
correct. Keep me, because I was even seeing it, writing it, like, man, this is kind of expanded. People's parts weren't supposed to be so big. They got way more dialogue than.
Look, this ain't all about me, but even my part expanded, right?
Yes,
like,
correct.
it's just, again, we said it yesterday, some things, on paper didn't turn out the way we thought they would.
No,
but then,
and
we adjusted on camera.
You had a great a word, Chaz, earlier. You said we adapted, which is we
correct.
adapted very well.
Yeah.
Adapt and overcome. That's
That's a secret to life, I think.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Adaptation. If you can't adapt, then
you're out the window.
You can't do nothing.
So so it kind of expanded into what it is.
So go ahead.
I remember Malcolm. Me telling Malcolm, I wrote a Bigfoot festival into this movie. He's like, a what? There's gonna be a Bigfoot festival. Well, how are we gonna make that happen?
We got to make a festival.
We just got. Yeah, that's your problem.
And I don't think neither one of you were at that one. That scene.
Yeah, I had to be out of town.
Me?
That day,
I was there.
You were there?
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing you there.
Yeah, I just couldn't be on camera because.
Yeah. So so the I will say
my wife was in that scene.
Yes, I will say the Bigfoot festival scene and the diner scene were two things that Malcolm took pride in, because it involved more than just the cast, right? We had to get some extras in there.
Yep, extras.
And we've made this, we keep bringing up Malcolm, but I mean, it's the reason for that is because this was all his vision, right?
Yeah.
And we talked a lot last night about the Red Room. Jake, you were a part of the Red Room, a pioneer of the Red Room.
Yeah.
And you've been entangled in all of this stuff with Travis as well. You were a part of Signal Lost, and Chaz, you were also a part of Signal Lost. For me, I'll be honest with you, I've always been a supporter of Malcolm, but I've never had the talent like rapping, right? Like, and I know my place. I know my lane. I know my lane. But when it got time to get involved with this side of things, I jumped on it, and it was because of that childhood friendship. And if anybody knows Malcolm, he's loyal. Chaz, you started friends. You met Malcolm as kids, right? How old were you guys?
In diapers.
Diapers, okay.
Oh, yeah.
And just loyal ever since. And which again would be a prime reason for the quick executive producer.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we have it coming up Friday.
We do have it coming up Friday.
So let's talk about what we're most excited about, right? Like, did you go with him to test it?
No. It was No, I couldn't make it that day. But
And did you? I know
No.
Travis did.
yeah,
Okay.
I wanted to, but
I wanted to too. I think we all wanted to.
they wouldn't let everybody go.
You know, we're definitely selling DVDs and Blu-rays
Blu-rays, yep.
at the event, and the suckers got them, and I'm like trying to
I know.
find
I
them
saw 'em in
and
there.
kind of just swipe them to the side, put them in my back pocket,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
I'd feel wrong for it. So
I
Yeah.
have like 200
Clips.
plus hours of in sound, and even I haven't seen what it looks like. I've only seen the film in raw, no color grade.
Yeah.
This hassle.
well, listen,
Just gonna have to wait till the
Listen,
premiere.
Jake.
And I'm
Jake,
just like, what the hell?
Jake, I
you
gotta tell
literally
you,
heard everything I've done.
writer, sound editor, producer, executive producer. Sorry
Yeah.
about your luck. You know what I mean? Like,
I know what it sounds
hey,
like.
hey,
It sounds damn good. I know that.
Jake,
But
it's
at least I tried.
um,
If it doesn't, my bad.
it's a good movie.
It is a darn
You're gonna
good
love it.
film.
You're gonna love it.
No, but we have again, the movie's Friday night, 7:00. For me, I cannot wait. Just we know that we're going to see a lot of people there, based off of the ticket sales that we've already gotten. There are still some for sale,
Yeah,
right?
so
in
please
there.
go out and
Yeah,
get them.
yeah. Go
Let's-
ahead.
Let's fill this theater up.
Let's
yeah.
fill
Heck
it
yeah.
up. I was talking.
Let's make it epic.
I was talking a little bit
Yeah.
after the podcast last
come
night,
on.
and we were talking about, what it looks like when a big movie premiere comes out. You've got the, I don't know what's the big one that's coming out this weekend. Final Destination. And
Oh, yeah,
you've
yeah.
seen other big films like that, and there's the line, and the theater's packed, and if you better get there early or you're gonna have to get the next show time. And how cool is it going to be when we show up in that movie theater? So I'm looking forward to seeing the crowd of people.
Sure.
It's already going to be there.
Yeah.
The red carpet, just the whole experience of being able to take pictures with the Big Hammock backdrop, and just see this thing come out before us, because this has been a lot of hard work, that we're going to see
Lots of hard work.
pay off. And to see that movie come up on the big screen,
Yeah.
and then watch the people sit back in their chair and get drawn into the movie. The Q&A afterward, the raffle, there's going to be, movie props, and and then after the fact, right? Like, we're going somewhere from here, right? This is just a movie premiere. This is a red carpet premiere, movie premiere event, but we're not done after this,
No, we're
right?
not.
Just getting
Obviously
started.
we got
Yeah.
DVDs ready to roll. We're not going to stop selling them, but we've got some other things in play, and we'll talk about all that probably Monday, but we're going to get through this premiere first. So, I want to thank you both for coming and joining us in on the second podcast, Big Hammock
Thank you,
podcast,
thank you.
and
Glad I could be here.
we'll look forward to Friday.
Right on, brother.
Yeah.
It's gonna be good time.
Please come. Enjoy.